Hello friends, I'm going to animate the fish for Clash of Little Pond and carry you to tag along. Let's do this. So I already animated one, and the idea is to animate the fish with the less bones possible, or any actually. So we want fish to move around on the pond and really don't care much about it. I do want it to be adjustable. We can do, if you move the curve, it's adjustable. So it is falling apart, and it's been the fish itself. It's being animated with just a simple deformed blend that itself has a perpetually curve, animated curve. Just noise. It's just a noise modifier on the curves. So let's do this to the other one. One shouldn't be much difficult to animate the other ones. So let's do it. Okay, I have the pet for the fish B. Let's do this is fish A. Let's just duplicate this one. Start with. And yeah, adjust it to be a little bit different. So this is I use render layers so that I can animate this and see this in real time. As you can see, it plays at 24 frames per second, because if I have the render file now, you're gonna wait forever. Oh, okay, not that bad, because I also have some things hidden on the render file, like water. I'm using a new water system now. It's the one from the same that was used in Flow, that the movie that won the Oscar, and it's from Martin's Uptis, more or less like that, which is a long-time Blender user like myself. That it's a water system. It's better than the other one. It allows simplification, and it works better and faster also. Now let's give it a look, but this takes a bit of time. I don't want to edit this video. It will be exactly as it is, so you see what I deal with. So I keep track of the processor, of all the processor temperatures and stuff like that. And let me just see also the GPU. On the top, I need the, this is because I need the most recent version, and the one that comes with my Linux version does not work with the RTX 5080. But the newest version does work totally fine. So let's see if you see anything now. And yes. So this is the new water system. I'm still learning a bit about it, but it's from the physical add-ons, physical open water add-ons, I think. And where is it? Causal here. So as you can see, this is now a system that works pretty nice and also allows to do this kind of thing. It has a line, it has a line where this works really close, so it has a soft line when water crosses with the underwater with the top of the water. So yeah, this alone is very difficult to make, so was also one of the key elements that made me switch to this system. This is obviously mixed with stuff that I did, like these water bubbles and stuff like that. So, but yeah, that's not the point for now. Let's just go back to where we were. We changed the render layer, and suddenly we have only the fish because I created those. This is very easy because now you can animate at 24 frames per second, like I mentioned before. All right, so let's just call this fish A on both things, on both the object and the object data. This is very important because it's how you instance things, for example. It's very useful. And let's already change the path a little bit so it does not resemble the other one. It seems that the most curvy that you make it, if you're wondering where the water is, it's on the grid. Okay, it's the grid plane, it's on 0, and that's where the water is. So that's why I don't need to have it on the screen. I know where it is. What? So let's just change the path so that fish, this is where the also the 0 is where the tavern is, so not much, there's not much a point of have the fish go around here because it will never be seen. They will just go away from the place the camera is. So let's try not to do that much, and but give it some different path than before. You can subdivide this and give it more randomness. So, and now, okay, we have something that is a path a little bit different from the previous one, so that the fish don't collide each other. Something like so. Probably the good idea is them not colliding each other, but the rest is not that much relevant. But yeah, it's a different path. Around here, that's a close call. Let's avoid that. Yep. Right. Now, as you can see on the original one, we have a modifier that's simply deformed and it will follow the curve. This one. So it is the same for the fish A. We have fish A, it's this guy, and we add the curve modifier. I actually don't like these things that they're now grouped from the time that they were all you just go here and you would see all of them and you just like, for some reason, because I was used to that, it was easier. Now I always end up having to choose around here and yeah, kind of not the same thing. So but let's just pet fish A X, and supposedly the fish should be on the bed. It's not, because that's the center is there. Shift S, cursor to selected, and you will send the fish to the cursor. And now we should have the fish on bed, but we do not. So what is that? It's the rotation, right? Let's see what's happening. Right, something wrong with the rotation, because you see it's perfectly lined up with the curve. That's because the curve itself has rotation. So yeah, this is always curves that it's only the problem, always this kind of problem, because the curve and the center of the object and the curve, they need to match perfectly, or it won't work as expected. It works after you parent it. So let's parent it to the curve object, and now you can rotate the curve and the fish will just follow accordingly. I think it was more or less like so. It was more or less like this, perhaps. Good question. Was it? No. Anyway. It's not that important. I wish I could go back now to see the value that was there, but yeah. Something like this. For some reason it feels different now, so I will just edit the curve again. It's easier. I don't want to go back. That's just pretty much ensure that the pets don't collide each other. Right. So let's see what happens when you press play. And although this fish B is going to the pet, the fish A it's not going anywhere. Why is that? Let's see. Because on fish A there is animation key on the X location curve, and on the fish B there is nothing. Okay, this is the location that the curve is. It's a little bit underwater, 3 meters underwater, the origin, so the fish also has to be. But if you now animate the X location curve, you drag here, you don't want to move it there, it's just a big confusion, so you'll just animate here. I see what's going on. I see why previously the curve was not matching, because it's upside down. Yeah, it's upside down on some locations. We'll fix that later. If it works, when we're doing something, we cannot try to do everything at once. You just do things a step at a time. So it's upside down. Let's just not worry about that now. That's a problem for later. So the other name for that on the when I worked on the Apollo 10.5 movie, but now I forgot about it. Okay, let's just keep on 0 and let's key it here, and let's add a key. Sorry, better. Let's stop this. Let's add a key on frame 1. Let's move it to frame 1, just to keep it simpler and easy to follow. And let's go to frame 100, and we just move something forward, and that's it. Now we go here and we select we delete X and Y, X and Z, no, sorry, Epsilon and Z. So we only have the X location to deal with, and as you can see, it's still going around just fine. But you see that this one is a lot faster than the other one. So let's just remove this, and then now moving slower. Let it stop. Yeah, that's expected. So we want the fish to go around endlessly, regardless of the shot, regardless of the frame you are, the fish just go around endlessly. So what we want is add a modifier to repeat these endlessly, and we will choose cycles, repeat with offset, and repeat with offset. This will ensure that we have a diagonal curve, ensuring that the fish just go around endlessly forever around the lake. So that's pretty much that. Fish just go around. It's upside down here, but that's another problem, like I mentioned. You just focus on the speed. Now, if you adjust this, you can adjust the speed that the fish move. Faster or slower. Perhaps more or less like this. Too slow? Perhaps. Yeah. This is a faster fish than this one. This one is like a lazy fish. This one is like a speed racer fish. So perhaps this speed. Remember that you can adjust it. There's no point of trying to make it that accurate. So, but fish don't always move at the same speed. So because of that, you can have noise, a little bit of noise, so that the curve is not perfectly straight, but it speeds down and slows down through the time. As the fish gets tired, it slows down, and then as it moves faster, it's faster. So let's do this to the fish A, and let's add to the curve. Actually, it came. Wait, something fishy around here. Let's give it a look. Yeah, it's already has the. It came with because I duplicated it. No. No, yeah. The fish also has it. There's another thing on the curve. There's also noise on the curve. I know what it is. It's so that the curve would move. Well, let's think about that later. Now let's add a noise so that the fish can do that, what I mentioned, slow down and speed up. Let's have more or less the same value because it was the scale that I found out that worked nice, reasonable. And let's just ensure that it starts and ends without these abrupt things. And you can do that with the face, for example. If you nail the correct face, let's just scale the curve so we can see better. If you nail the correct face, for example, the offset, and you can have a perfect curve without noticing that it's doing the same thing all over and over again. And you can add a little bit of noise if you want, a little bit of depth. Again, it changes the thing. You can add more time, so it has more noise variation. So instead of, you can do 1000. so that it has more fluctuation. It has more variation before it repeats itself the same thing. And again, we need to fix this thing so that you don't notice the place. Let's see the speed now. All right, that seems to does the trick. That seems to do it. Nice. Great. So now let's fix the problem that the fish is upside down in some locations and some it's not. Let's follow that fish. And let's see what it does. Let's try to keep this straight. So yeah, it's straight. Now here it kind of leans down. They probably actually even do, but we want to avoid strange things. Someone in the keyboard warriors on the social network will say, oh, that's just not how the fish will move, because I see fish all day long and I know that they don't do that. Well, yeah, so let's avoid that. And we just tilt. That is the curve. If you go around here, there is the tilt. Round should be here. Transform. And yeah, not here. Split. Well, it's Control T, that's for sure, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's a tilt. Control T. I'm more at ease with the keyboard shortcuts than actually UI things. So let's just keep doing this point by point so that the fish is a little bit more straight, like how it does here, like a motorcycle, and it just turns around. So around here, probably not. So let's fix it. And too much fun, fish. You cannot have that much fun. Let's keep the fish. Oh, I see. Now he wants to do that all the time. Let's keep it on the direction of the curves. And like so, a little bit tilt. It's okay. Not that much. And there he goes. Again, a spin. You could do it spin, but again, someone will complain about it. So let's avoid that. That would be awesome if someone watched the movie times enough to see how the fish are moving. So I don't think that will happen at all, but just in case. I love keyboard warriors, by the way. Without them, we wouldn't have any intention. You could do this kind of videos. Nobody cares. But if the keyboard warriors join in, then you are super successful movie YouTube thing. Let's see. Let me see. Oh, it's a spin. What the hell? Why not? Why not? Yeah. The problem is that it has spin back. Probably that's spin back to the other location. Let's see. Okay. And now it's more like in a roller coaster. And there's all fine. And it goes and spins back. And here, let's try to see. bit more straight. No point for this here. And I will leave this spin. So if it happens, if you guys happen to notice it, you know that it's for you, keyboard warriors. Keyboard warriors love. And here we go. Yes. Huh. Interesting. Maybe. Let's see. All right. Even so, you want to avoid any too much noticeable weird thing. So one spin is fine. The fish having fun, but if it spins all the time, it's just looks like the fish is not doing well at all. But they are kind of going a bit close together. We can fix this by just pushing the curve, all the curve up. And now they different timing completely, right? Okay, they eventually to catch up, but yeah, we are, the movie it's 10 minutes long, so that would be like 10,000 frames, if that much. So this is the movement that the fish will have through the time, right? So, but now there is another thing that we need to consider. There is another thing that we have to consider, and that, as you can see in this fish P, it kind of moves as it was swimming. It's not only follow the curve, it also moves as if it was swimming. And you can do that. Let me just this tilt thing can, it doesn't make much difference actually, but if you give it some natural, what you perceive as a human being as natural, it's not what the fish do, is what you think as a human being that the fish do, because they don't think like you. But nobody cares about that, because people are used to, because we are humans, and as humans we consider that everyone does things like we do, and that what the audience expects that you do. That's the problem. But it's just how it is. You are human, and as such you think that everything should move and behave like you do, so that you have affinity to it, because other way you just don't. That's not like how I would do it. And it's not, because every animal has its their own way to socialize and do that stuff. But they are not going to pay to watch the movie, of course. So anyway, moving on. Right, now we want to do the fish, like have some movement. Okay, so let's do that. I think that when you move the tilt, it kind of twists a bit the next one. Yeah. When you move the tilt, it feels that it also influences with the next curve. But all right. Yeah, it's convincingly enough, perhaps. Okay. Yeah, it's convincingly enough. Yeah, you can actually do more resolution to the curves so it's smooth. But what I found out on the other one is that this kind of less smooth thing helps to make it look like it's underwater, because it deforms geometry a little bit more uneven, so it kind of feels more like underwater than have a perfectly smooth path. Back again to the former issue, we wanted to move a little bit random, so and that is made with let me try to see this one, and I did that with a simple deform. Bend, let's do that. Add modifier, simple deform. Again, I don't know where it is. It's not bad, it's good, but I'm just old. Back in my day, that was not anything possible. Oh, great! What did it do? Something strange again. Awesome. So let's see. Yeah, one obviously thing is that it has to be on top. And again, we need to key this angle. We need to key this value so that it varies through the time. And as far as I can tell, it's not really something that you can, some value that you need to insert on it. So let's just key it. And we have that angle. See? Just key it and you add noise to it. Let me see what I did on the other fish. What kind of noise? There it is. I think it's just one key. Yep, it's just one key. And we had noise, 50, strength 11. Let's do more or less the same thing to this one. Noise, and at scale 50 and strength up to 11. And there you go. Let's try to see if I have another thing. It's more or less the same. Let's see what happens. This has not as bigger fins as the other one, but should also, yeah, give some motion to the fins, you see? Like it's more floaty and wavy. Let's follow him. Looks like it's more, yeah, swimming. Yeah, you see, now this is pretty much the noise from the curve, but it feels like it's kind of underwater. So that was an happy accident, and I will leave it as it is because I think it works really fine. You see, it kind of looks like it's waves, and yeah, it's just a lack of resolution, but works apparently fine. And that's it. There's no point in doing a lot more stuff because it's just fish that nobody will care about and probably most people won't see. It's underwater. Let's save it. This is the time it takes to save. It's not much, could be worse. And Let's see how it looks in the render view. And this is the speed that it goes in the render view, 6 frames per second, more or less. And I'm still trying to figure out what exactly causes all that slowdown. For sure, that's a lot of confusion here and a lot of stuff and lots of things happening, water and all that stuff, and just all the plants move and stuff like that. But surprisingly, it's not the plants. I tried it, I annihilated everything, and the plants, if alone, like in a different layer, a different view layer, they just play fine. What actually seems to be is the terrain. This terrain, for the purpose of water, if I activate this, it has to calculate the intersection zone of the water, right? The add-on needs to know where water goes and does some kind of intersection calculation. And that alone slows down everything. Just the terrain. Also, the terrain, it has 4K textures with bump and not, no, it's just normal map. And that normal map alone seems to slow everything down. If I remove it, not sure if you're gonna see anything, because let's try it. Yeah, it still has the water intersection issue. If I cannot remove it because it's on the shader. It's here on the, it's one of the Blue Sky shaders, but let's just jump straight right in. And again, again, it's not that. But you only have fish around here. You have 3 fish in the terrain. And if you add the terrain, even so, it's not that. It's 3 fish. Why is it that slow? But that's a problem for, that's again, problem for later. It's one of those things that you keep in progress and you try to find out why it's going wrong later. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. And I will now do the next fish. I'm sure that you by now are completely tired to listen to me. And I will just be repeating myself on the next one, so there's no point for that. Let me know if you want to be bored for that on the next videos. This surely is good for insomnia. And I can do more of this, but for now, I will now do the next fish, this one, the fish C, exactly the same way that I did the other two. And that will be it for today. I will then try to play a little bit of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth with my wife, Perdiz, that made all these fish and made all the scenery, made pretty much everything that you see around here. And that will be it for today. Bye. See you next time.